Hey, what's up, card fighters? Don't have my usual setup today. Kind of in the process of pre-moving since I kind of move out in like a month and a half. But you know, we got a little bit of rinky-dink set up here, and I wanted to go over my FAVRNEEL list that I did manage to get third with at locals. I think it's a really innovative, not really super innovative, I'd say. It's kind of like you're just putting all the best, you're mashing all the best cards together, and then besides that, you're just playing stuff that work with the deck. But it has some really cool cards in it. And I really wish that this deck would get more support just because, like, RHEINGOLD is such a really cool card. The fact that he gives 10k the front row, he gives himself a crit, the fact that you can virtually Persona Ride every turn off of Red Baron is really nice. But I want to go over the ride line real quick. I know, like, the kind of industry standard for FAVRNEEL is the Omnia ride line. I tried that. I didn't really like it. I know people are using the Almagestar ride line. Didn't like that. Bruce ride line didn't feel good enough, or it didn't feel synergistic enough with what the deck wanted to do. And honestly, I've heard bad things about this ride line. Oh, like, oh, you're not guaranteed the draw, or like, yeah, basically you're not guaranteed the draw using the Blangmire ride line, but what you are guaranteed is grades. Like, you cannot soul charge a 0 off of the Blangmire ride line. You could get 3 triggers, yeah, but like you're like, if you don't get 3 triggers, you're guaranteed A grade, and this deck runs 18 grade 3s. So yeah, that's my main reason for running this ride line, and it felt really synergistic with what the deck was trying to do. Like, it actually, your ride line moves towards your end goal, which was getting the 13 grades in soul. But 4 copies of RHEINGOLD. Nothing much to say here. You can get him off of the ride line and then not even have to worry about it. You can get him off of Orbital Surrogate. There's just like a bunch. You can get him from Drop Zone. There's a bunch of different ways that you can go about grabbing your FAVRNEEL RHEINGOLD. Well, you can't get him from the Drop Zone unless, like, you're using his own ability to get him from the Drop Zone, but by that time you already have your RHEINGOLD. So yeah, you can get him from hand, from field, and soul charge him from deck off the ride line, which is pretty good. 4 copies of Eligos. Eligos is just a counter charger for the deck. Ironically, feels like the worst card in this deck, in my personal opinion, considering, like, Eligos's price point at the same time. Just really kind of sucks, but you kind of have to run him because he's a counter charger. But FAVRNEEL's RHEINGOLD's secondary ability of just, like, soul charging a FAVRNEEL from hand for the restand has come up to whereas, like, I don't use Eligos as often as I usually did in the earlier iterations of the deck. More often than not, I'm just kind of like trying to set up double Crucial Dragon, or set up a Crucial Dragon and a Red Baron. And then 4 copies of Purgatory Baron. He is honestly, like, he is one of my favorite cards in this deck. The fact that, like, not only does he put himself into soul, he guarantees Persona Ride. He gives you really cool discard synergies during your ride phase, which I am going to go over when I get onto the grade 2s. But Red Baron is honestly my favorite card in this deck. Besides FAVRNEEL RHEINGOLD himself, really, really love Red Baron. And then I'm playing 4 copies of Crucial Dragon. We're not running Jarrett Dragon anymore just because of the way that this deck kind of works. You're not really concerned about soul charging from hand. Like, as long as you can soul charge from board, you're fine. And, like, Crucial Dragons, they're kind of like better Eligoses, except that they don't countercharge. In my personal opinion, they're kind of like a better Eligos, except they don't countercharge. And the fact that they get a buff defensively and offensively, that these can turn into 10k shields in hand if your opponent checked the trigger, is very nice because you're running a deck that naturally does not have a lot of shield value. 1 copy of Walk the Dark, and then 1 copy of Orbital Surrogate. I could be playing more copies of Walk the Dark if I really wanted to. This deck doesn't really use energy outside of the energy cycler, but I chose to just keep it at 1 copy for now. Partially because I was kind of lazy. It's supposed to be like 3 Crucial Dragons and then 2 Walk the Darks, but honestly, the Crucial Dragons came up clutch a lot. Like, I really wanted to set up boards of, like, double Crucial Dragon against my opponents. But getting on to the grade 2s, we're running 4 copies of the Energy Cycler, and then 4 copies of the Soul Blast Cycler. Now, a really cool play that you can do with the Soul Blast Cycler in this deck is in combination with Red Baron. I know I've gone over this in my other FAVRNEEL deck profiles, but for y'all that are new, Red Baron's ability that it's at the beginning of Ride Phase from Soul to bind it, discard a card from hand, and then you get to Persona Ride. If you bind it, discard Lamia from hand to Persona Ride, then you can use Lamia's skill, because she was discarded during the Ride Phase, to Soul Blast 1, put her on bottom, and draw a card. So basically, you're turning your Persona Rides into not even needing the original Grade 3 in hand to a discard 1, draw 2, which is it's a really cool synergy piece. And also, because you have such consistent Persona Ride, you can get off their secondary effects pretty easily. I did have games where the boost effect did come up to have this 15k booster, and I did have games where like calling something out from Soul did come up off of Lamia. So it was pretty cool. And then a card that I am playing in this deck that I have not seen in any other FAVRNEEL RHEINGOLD lists is 4 copies of Swan Lake Oodleen. What Swan Lake Oodleen does, it's a very simple ability, guys. What Swan Lake, ooh, that glare is really nasty. Hold on. Let me take these out. My bad, guys. I didn't know that glare was going to be that bad. What Swan Lake Oodleen does, it's a very simple ability of when she boosts, if it's boosting a Grade 3 or greater unit and your opponent's Vanguard's Grade 3 or greater, you Soul Blast 1 and it gets 10k until the end of that battle. And my problem with this version of the build is I would build up so much soul and I had nothing to do with the excess amount of soul that I had, and this was like a really good outlet and a synergistic outlet to help me get rid of that excess soul, or like put that excess soul to good use, which I really liked in this deck. It was really nice in this deck, the Swan Lake Oodleen, which is a common, by the way. This is a common that no one else plays, bro. Literally. But this deck, it's a Grade 3 deck. It was made for this deck. 1 copy of Elementaria, 3 DPGs. The Dark State's Overtrigger. It's a restanding Vanguard deck. It makes sense. 3 of the plus 5k fronts. We don't care about the soul fronts in this build because we don't care about anything that doesn't have a grade. If the soul front got a grade at the same time, bro, forget about it. Forget about it, bro. It would have been auto-included in this deck. But we're just playing that for the extra 5k shield. 4 into soul crits. Better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Plus, it can turn that into a 10k booster, 20k booster if your opponent's Grade 3 or greater in a pinch. 4 regular crits, and then 4 regular heals. This by no means, I would say, is a tiered deck, in my personal opinion. Oh, damn, guys. I'm so sorry. I gotta fix this setup. I didn't know the glare was gonna be so bad. This by any means is a tiered deck, and in my opinion, this is most definitely a rogue warrior strategy, especially because you can get hands clogged by 3s. You can get... It's a very piece-reliant deck. You still need to see a couple cards to be able to even do your 13 grades on turn 3, even though your ride line does help you out immensely with that, and the cyclers do help you out immensely with that. But it's definitely a rogue warrior strategy. Can you go to locals and do well with this at locals? I do believe that you can, but outside of a local setting, I honestly would not take this deck to anything higher than a local setting or casual play. But it's a really fun deck to play. It was a very fun deck to pilot. I originally built this deck for a completely different type of video that I was gonna do, but that didn't really pan out, and then I already sunk all my time into building this deck. So I sunk so much, I sunk basically a week's worth of time trying to make this deck playable, and shout outs to my buddy Ed. He helped me finalize this list, and I really like what came out of it, and I really wanted to showcase it since FAVRNEEL is one of my unloved children, because you know we gotta love the runts of the litter, am I right? But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Let me see if I can do something about this lighting for future deck profiles later.